Hi everyone, this is Sheena from For the Love of Paper, and I thought I'd give you a quick tour of where I create and do my crafting. I think I'm going to turn this light off just for sake of not being blinded. Yeah, that's probably better for right now. So this is the desk that I craft at, and it's butted up against one of those 9x9 cubes, and I have stuff stuck. I am going to turn this light back on, but I'm going to push it down. Hopefully I can do that without, yeah, that's a little better, just because it adds more light to the general room. So I have on the top of my desk a caddy that I use for all my tools. I did do a showing, a different video on this. Then I have in the cube some paper, some things that I use a lot, and this one has some distress ink right there. I did a video and showed how I made this little thing for my distress ink. Oh, there it goes. That happens a lot when I'm crafting. Underneath there's more inks, and then I have this little box of words. These are pieces of paper and stuff like that. In these boxes here, it's not something I use very often, but there's like stickers and stuff. This is a chest that I pull words from that my sister created and do journal pages. And this is like a little wall collage of different things from different people. I got this printed image for my college graduation from my aunt. This is from my family in Bolivia. And this pink, He Restores My Soul, is someone from my church painted that. And this bingo board is from my friend Casey, as well as another piece of art from a friend. There is dried flowers from a trip, my first trip to Bolivia. And then I have some tools in that little blessed cup that I grab from pretty regularly. My rollers and pens and stuff like that. In these little boxes, I'm not going to pull them out, but it's like paper clips of all varying sizes, and safety pins, things like that, that there's a big quantity of. I just did this the other day. This is little bottles of art glitter glue and Fabri-Tac, just in a smaller stream. This is my shop stamp, and then lotion, because I do not like when my hands are dry. This is an ink caddy that has oxides and some distress inks, sprays, and then all the brushes that I use. And then this is like a drawer of my eyelets, my hitch post, some brads, and these both have little brads in it of varying sizes. And then I don't get in this much very more, but it's like a tea box, and then it has different pieces, stamps, stickers, little square pieces of fabric. There's old milk crate toppers. And then right beside me here I have my hot glue, and all my Tim Holtz scissors are on the edge here. And this is like a little paintbrush I use to brush off my desk. And I have my cutters, foam that I use for signatures. And then behind here I have 2 boxes of just fabric scraps that I grab from pretty frequently. And there's a scrap box there, pieces of trim and fabric that I use pretty frequently. This is an old crate, and then underneath that is a box of just word stamps, little pieces of wood, embellishments, my roll of receipt paper that I use for like collage strips. And then there's just some wood words. There's a lot of wood pieces in there. Don't get in there very often. And then right to the right of this is like my spray bottles, some peg stamps, a lot of pieces of paper I just pull randomly, and then my little thing of vintage photos. And this is just some random things. I got these little boxes at IKEA, so I just put some things in there, and then my wax melting pot. And then you can see that these are the cubes. So here is just like a little box of receipt papers, and then that's my sewing box that has all my stuff for sewing and signatures. This is just a little tote I throw all my trash in whenever I'm crafting. And then there's a bunch of other boxes down there that are labeled. It's basically wood stamps, embellishments. Right here in the middle is a caddy full of all my Stampin' Up! Stamps and my Stampers Anonymous stamps. And there's also like the tin right here of the sprays by Tim Holtz, and this gray thing is full of Tim Holtz ephemera. So I'll pull that up. But before I do that, this is the bottom of that caddy that shelf next to me. So, and this is die cuts, fabrics. This is seam binding. And then back there's a whole basket full of laces and trims and stuff like that. I kind of have a obsession for those, so I purchased them. Actually, a lot of what came in there was a big sale at Michael's. So let me grab this. It's also covering a stain where I dropped a StazOn on the floor. So this big thing, I actually got it from Amazon. And as soon as I unzip it fully, it's gonna drop. So this is where I store a lot of my Tim Holtz pieces. So we got photos, photo booth, found relatives, more of the snapshots, mini paper dolls, portraits, solos, some groups, these little cards. This is like black and white pieces. I don't have anything in this one. This is actually just birds from Michael's. This is the worn wallpaper, frames, and then the botanicals. All this is Halloween. All this is Christmas. You can see that these are empty, but that doesn't mean I'm out. It just means that this is empty. And then I have some other holiday stickers and stuff in here, and then this is back here in the back is full of all the different Tim Holtz words and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna fight to try and zip that back up, so I'll just let that sit there. So then if I back up, I will say that this room doubles as our family office, my craft room, my work office, and my closet. So this is a multi-purpose room for sure. So then if I push this, oh, I should show you this. This is my project box of some things that I've started and haven't finished. And then there's just a couple pieces of things on here that I glue on. And then, okay, I do have to move this, because one of my favorite things, and I've done a video of this, are my trays. These nesting trays that are full of different stacks of ephemera. And I use this for snippets, collaging, so they're all varying sizes. And then, again, one of my favorite pieces is this printer's tray. Ooh. And it has tons of metal pieces. So we got keys, charms, Tim Holtz pieces, more Tim Holtz pieces. These are just like old embellishments from Stampin' Up. Let's see if I can zoom a little bit closer. Yes. the fabric washies he has, buttons, more charms. There's book corners in here, bottle caps, just tons of different things that I have collected. And this is again one of my favorite trays. So let me zoom back out a little bit. I'll let those sit there for now. Sorry about the siren in the background. So then behind me, this is a jewelry case, but I have my wipes in here, my dry wipes and my wet wipes. And then this is hand sanitizer. I don't know if you know this, but hand sanitizer really cleans off your mat well. So I keep that available. Coming around, I guess I can show you here. There's something that I framed. Ricky Tikki Tavi, and I purchased some of her things, and I just framed that little girl that she has created. And then you come around here. This letterbox is full of my stencils, and then I have a little bit of a collage board here of a bunch of different things. There's a lot of these little leaves that are in the shapes of heart that my husband finds, and then I sew them into little pouches and pin them up. This is from a friend I work with, she made. And then I have here postcards. That's an old vintage muffin tin that I use for gathering pieces to work with. I have some scraps in here. These are just buttons, and then little like resin flowers. This is collage papers that I use. Back there, I did a video of that. That's my idea book. And then let me step out a little bit. I really don't have good lighting in this room, so you're going to see my shadow on there. But this is a multi-drawer piece that I got from Hobby Lobby that has essentially from here all the way down is stamps. And I'll just pull a couple out. So all stamps of different kinds. I think I missed this one. More stamps. I tried to keep them all in one layer if they were wood. Definitely plenty of those. There's also a couple of these containers of the flat back pearls. This is a splatter stamp I just got. And then and here's like embellishing things, some vintage buttons, flowers, bows, more flowers, these little ticket things. They came in big strips, but I cut them up. And then there's more flowers, these little fabric, it's not fabric, the word's not coming to me right now, but different pieces in here. Some burlap bows, back in the corners some regular bows, more embellishment pieces, and then this whole drawer is collage of all kinds. I have some current wrapping papers up here that I was using in journals that are Christmas. I don't know if I'm going to get into these other ones. This is all like my wax seal stuff, different silicone pieces, and all the little pieces for that. And then this is an emboss drawer. So a lot of my embossing powders are in here, and my Versamark. And let's come down to here. This is like collage medium, and inks and Mod Podge and all different kinds of things, extra pads for my inker, some other inks back there. And then in here is, yeah, this is not easy to get in and out of. That's all lace and trims that are lace, and big sheets of like old curtains that are lace, and yeah, I love this drawer, but it's not easy to get in and out of. And then down here's texture paper, and I really cleaned this out recently because a lot of my paper is in the next room, which I will show you. And then these are like texture pieces, different kinds of pieces of things, burlap, different variated sizes of burlap that all can be used in pieces. Coming back up, this behind here, I don't know if you can see this gray thing. It's got multiple shelves going the whole way down. That's journals. That is full, except for this one right here. Sorry if you heard my husband yawn. That was a little loud. Different journals that I journal in and have collected. And then obviously I have different threads here. I have this big thing of cream seam binding, neutral ones, Christmas ones. So I pull from them all the time and use those in different things. So I'm going to back out and turn this way. So this is all my shoes. And then as we turn this way, this is another 9 cube organizer. So there's 3 drawers here. This is kind of just like playing cards, quilting squares, and this top one here is string. This is scraps, but I recently went through that and emptied that out. This is neutral ribbon and fabrics, fabric squares. This is brown boxes, like labels. And then this top sewing box is actually fabric. This is fabric strips. This is fabric squares. And then this is my current bin that I work from, or cube that I work from. That's all Christmas. And like I said, whenever I say, oh no, that's not the last Tim Holtz. Yeah, there's plenty in there, not opened. This is tags. And then these 2 pouches are fabric pouches that I created that have all fussy cuts that need to be cut. This is a bin of vintage ephemera. This cube here is pretty much all my mixed media stuff. This has a basket full of like flashcards, longer ones, pretty much thicker things that I like to put in journals. And then my Somerset Studio magazines and some notebooks that I just put ideas in. This I got recently at the thrift store for like $2, and it's full of little pouches, like little coin envelopes and stuff like that. Vintage buttons. These cubes back here I don't get in very much. They're just like overflow boxes. So I do have an overflow of mixed media. I have some tape back there and some envelopes and embossing folders, and that's a whole metal bin of punches. And then I'm trying to get up slowly. This is a carousel full of Stampin' Up stamp pads. I used to be a demonstrator on 2 different periods of time, so I have a lot of Stampin' Up stuff. And then here, I got these bins at Dollar General. I just loved them, so I went to multiple stores to get a lot. This is index cards. These are, I just put this one out because I started making book page bases. And then back here is just things that I pull from envelopes, envelopes from the mail that I save. There's some vellum envelopes here, and more just varied envelopes, and then collage paper, and then stationery paper. This little section here on the wall It's just like threads, markers, washi tapes, things that I use a lot whenever I'm packaging stuff. And these are both Tim Holtz, ephemera, and this thing back here has a lot of my tag bases and some finished pieces in the back. These are some vintage card catalog boxes full of index cards, library cards. It's hard to open with one hand without pulling it off the shelf. But yeah, that's full of tons of stuff like that. And then if I back up and turn, there's my sewing machine and my laptop that I use obviously for Etsy stuff. This bin right here, I know the lighting's terrible. It's not a very bright room. This bin here is all fabric. This basket here is all fabric. Let's see if I can get down a little bit lower. This basket's all vintage buttons, threads, fabrics, ribbons. This basket, I can pull that from the side, I think. This is all stuff full of like trims and laces that I decorate things with, put as toppers. And that's really just shoved in there. And then some other things that I use for the shop, the Etsy shop. So then I have just a bin right here of things I need to sew and just some things related to sewing that are easy available to grab. Then if you move around here, this is a whole cart full of glues and paintbrushes, tons of different things. There's embellishments, and down there's all my memory keepers, different boards and stuff like that. And let's see if I can get you to this back cube. Back here is my Ideals magazines, things for the printer, extra cards, book pages, some more bins full of stuff. These are more Stampin' Up! Stamps down here that I don't really use, so those are all in there. And then, yeah, more Tim Holtz stuff in there. And these are some vintage books that I found that have like someone's like kind of scrapbooked things, so I'm going to turn those pages into bases. But yeah, that's just like an extra cube that I have some things on. And going to back out. These little bins down here are yarn, and I do have some cardstock type paper in here, and Tim Holtz stuff in here of all different kinds of extra things to refill my big ephemera keeper that I had showed you. And I guess the top of what is our like personal desk, I have here some cards of bingo cards, bingo boards. Oops, sorry, I hit you. I actually do have another light over here I'm trying to reach. There we go. This is Lady I've done a flip through of, and then a couple other journals that I work from. And take you back around. So I guess I'll call this part 1, because I need to move to the other room to show you where all my paper and books are, which is obviously a very exciting part of my crafting and creating. So again, I'll just end here at where I sit and do most of my creating. Thanks. Stay tuned for part 2.